Your neighbor in your apartment building knows a massive secret about your dog that you don't even realize. You probably think your dog is chewing up that sofa cushion because they are being stubborn. Or maybe you think it's a spiteful reaction to you leaving them alone for the day. But the truth is, your dog might be feeling overwhelmed, and they aren't trying to punish you. What's actually happening is a massive stress response, and your dog is simply using that unwanted behavior as a desperate cry for help to release a flood of stress hormones. Understanding this psychological mechanism is exactly what changes everything for you and your buddy. Every morning, when that front door closes, you might assume your pup just goes to sleep on their bed. But behind that closed door, there is an entirely different story unfolding. If your dog has ever done something that left you completely confused, drop a 9 in the comments right now so you know you're not alone, and there's actually a reason behind it. By the way, this video is brought to you by AI, designed to share the most helpful science-backed insights for pet parents just like you. Let us know in the comments what state or country you are watching from today. To understand why your dog does this, let's take a quick look at what's actually happening on those nanny cams during the first 7 minutes you are gone. Have you ever wondered why your dog starts whining and barking the second you lock the deadbolt? Are they just bored? Are they trying to annoy the neighbors? Not at all. They are experiencing a very real panic. Back in 2010, researchers at the University of Milan watched 23 dogs through hidden cameras, and what they saw was heartbreaking. On average, the vocalization starts just 3 minutes and 15 seconds after you leave. And the unwanted behavior, like chewing your favorite running shoes, happens within exactly 7 minutes. 7 minutes is all it takes for the fight or flight instinct, that hardwired reaction dogs inherited from their ancestors, to completely take over their brain. Their heart rate skyrockets, they start panting heavily, and even if they eventually go quiet, behavioral researchers have observed that this physiological panic doesn't just fade away. Instead, it cycles. Every 23 to 28 minutes, there is a brand new spike in their stress hormones. They aren't settling down. They are simply exhausting themselves. If hearing that makes your heart ache just a little bit for your Velcro dog, go ahead and hit that like button to support dogs everywhere who are struggling with this. But the really wild part is that this intense panic doesn't actually begin when the door shuts. It starts way before that. In the 1980s, veterinary behaviorists Borchell and Voy made a huge discovery about separation anxiety, that real distress your dog feels when you walk out the door. They found that many dogs tend to start showing measurable stress responses while their pet parent is still right there in the living room. Think about your own morning routine. Does your dog give you that wide-eyed stare when you grab your phone off the kitchen counter? Do they start pacing when you put on your sneakers for a quick walk in Central Park? Through a form of learning where your dog connects two things together, even without meaning to, they have completely decoded your morning schedule. You pour your coffee, you grab your keys, you pick up your work bag. Every single one of those repetitive actions acts as a massive warning siren in their brain, signaling that the person they love most in the world is about to vanish. That is exactly why your dog follows you from the bedroom to the bathroom, refusing to let you out of their sight. If your dog also turns into a total Velcro dog before you leave the house, leave a comment and tell us what state you live in so we can share our experiences. The good news is that once you understand the why, the what to do becomes a whole lot clearer. You might think the hardest part for your dog is watching you leave, but the absolute worst trigger for this anxiety actually happens the moment you return. The Royal Veterinary College ran a massive study called Generation Pup, and what they found completely changes how we look at separation issues. The real problem isn't that your goodbye was too long or too emotional. The issue happens when you come home from a long day at work, see that the corner of the rug has been completely chewed apart, and you react with visible frustration or raised voices. It is totally natural to feel upset, but here is what is actually going on inside their brain. Your dog can't connect your frustration to the rug they destroyed 4 hours ago. There is no chain of causation available to them over that wide time window. The only thing they learn is that your arrival means anger, tension, and a sudden lack of safety. So, The fear of you leaving suddenly merges with the fear of you coming home. Their entire day becomes one exhausting loop of anticipatory stress. Sound familiar? This doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. It just means your dog is communicating and you are learning to listen. And when pet parents see their dog struggling like this, the first piece of advice they usually get is to bring a second dog into the family. But is that really the solution? The most common advice shared at the dog park is usually to just go get another pup so they have a friend. But a 2021 study looking at 77 different dogs showed that this might not be the answer. Your dog isn't crying out because they need a buddy to do zoomies with in the hallway. Their separation anxiety is about the specific absence of one specific irreplaceable person, and that person is you. Adding a second dog to the mix doesn't heal that deeply rooted panic. In many cases, it just leaves you with two dogs in the same house who are both dealing with their own separate unwanted behaviors. So, if getting another dog doesn't solve it, and your dog still panics, you might think the ones who just sleep on the couch all day are the lucky ones. But the truth is, the most concerning behavior of all isn't the barking or the chewed-up shoes. It is the absolute silence. Imagine unlocking your front door to find your house perfectly intact and your dog is just lying quietly on their bed. You probably breathe a sigh of relief, thinking they had a great, relaxing day. But back in the 1960s, a researcher named Martin Seligman at the University of Pennsylvania identified a psychological state called learned helplessness. When a dog looks completely passive on the camera, it doesn't always mean they are calm. For many dogs, it means their nervous system has been under so much prolonged pressure that their brain has essentially shut down to cope with the inescapable stress. It gets even deeper than that. In 2019, a research team at Linköping University in Sweden analyzed the hair samples of dogs and their pet parents, and they discovered something incredible. Your dog's cortisol levels are completely synchronized with yours. If you bring a highly stressed nervous system home from the office, your dog's stress hormones are going to skyrocket right along with you. They aren't starting from a calm baseline when you leave the house. They are already carrying the weight of your anxiety from the night before. This shows just how incredibly deep your bond really is. If you feel that amazing connection with your pup, hit share on this video for other dog lovers out there and drop a comment to let us know what state you are watching from. So the next time you see this behavior, you'll know exactly what your dog is trying to tell you. But how do we actually help them survive those 8 hours alone when a puzzle feeder just isn't cutting it? You've probably tried everything from expensive calming collars to stuffing a Kong toy full of peanut butter, hoping it will keep them busy. But enrichment tools only work for so long. The second they finish licking that toy clean, reality sets in again, and they realize you are still gone. Research suggests that the most effective approach is a process called desensitization, which basically helps your dog's brain rewire itself to feel safe. You don't need to use strict obedience training. You just need to practice with the front door. Step outside for just 5 seconds, then walk right back in. Later, step out for 30 seconds and come back inside. You are slowly building a history of return, proving to their nervous system that every single time this door closes, it will absolutely open again, and you will be standing right there. Veterinary behaviorists have found that the tipping point for most dogs is around 40 minutes. Once your dog can tolerate roughly 40 minutes of absence without experiencing a stress response, their brain finally understands the pattern, and stretching that out to 4 or 8 hours tends to follow relatively quickly. It is very doable, with a little patience and consistency. After 30 years of studying nanny cams and diving deep into canine behavior, there is one beautiful truth you need to remember. Your dog isn't trying to give you a hard time, and they aren't being a bad dog. They are simply reacting to the absence of the one nervous system that makes them feel entirely safe in this big, overwhelming world, and that is your nervous system. Building trust is what makes the difference. If this deep dive changed the way you look at your dog's behavior while you are at work, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now and leave a comment down below. Does your dog start showing signs of stress before you even pick up your car keys? We want to send a massive, heartfelt thank you to every single pet parent out there for the incredible support on this channel. Your dog doesn't need to be perfect. They just need you to understand them, and that's already something special. See you in the next video.